There is an invisible creature that could be holding back some people from getting financially ahead. You can't literally see it, you can't literally touch it, but it is there. What on earth am I talking about? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, this is Jan. Welcome to another episode on the Save Money and More with Jan channel. How's everybody doing today? Thank you so much for being here. And I really appreciate every single one of you. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope you don't have one of these lurking around your home or apartment. You cannot see it. You cannot stop it. Yes, you can stop it. All right, let's get right down to it. But first, I just want to mention something. I have a question. Did you ever have to paint a room? When it's time to paint the room, one of the first things before we even clean the walls, make sure that they're scrubbed, is we make sure, well, this is what I do anyway. I make sure the room is completely empty so that I can move around freely and do whatever it is that I have to do in the room. Ever notice that wonderful feeling of an empty room? You can actually even hear your voice echo. Ever notice that? You hear the little bit of an echo in the room, like, wow, this is what the room looks like without stuff in it. It's sort of a good feeling, but then it could be rather empty. And then you're happy after you clean, paint your room, let it dry, and return your stuff to your room in a maybe a better way, different manner, probably and possibly, assumingly, minus some stuff like, unneeded things, clutter, debris. You see where I'm going with this. But there is a monster that sometimes it's an invisible monster or elephant in the room in our financial life. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the monster, otherwise known as DEBT, debt. What? What does that have to do with the price of fish? Yeah, my favorite food, not. Except for tuna, because it tastes like chicken, but that's an old story. Anyway, this monster called debt could be occupying your mental space. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like it's in the back of your mind. It bothers people. People sometimes think it's insurmountable. Don't do that. Always remember, every single time you make a payment to knock off that debt, look at it like this. Let's pretend instead of a monster or an elephant, that there's this huge, huge, those inflatable balloons, not the like the kind, the dinky, rinky kind that you get, at the stores, but like a really heavy duty balloon. Let's pretend that that is inflated to the max with debt. Mm, 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 mm. And it is taking up your room, your mental space. It's bothering you. It just bothers you. But think of this. I want to give you a little bit of assurance here. It's not all gloom and doom. Every single time you make an intended on time, if not early, which is always a nice thing, possible payment on that DEBT debt, you are sort of like giving it a little bit of surgery. You are taking the wind out of its sail, and that big, big, big monster balloon is decreasing. Remember that witch in that very famous story where you see, with three, you see like a scarecrow and other people going somewhere, and the bad witch, that wicked one, you see it melting down to the ground. You take it, the winds were taken out of that witch's sails. This is what we do every single time we make a payment back on purpose, intended, done with great intention. Sometimes we have to take up an extra side job to knock down the debt. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with an additional income stream coming in. In fact, you might like the idea so much that you keep going until you don't want to, or you just keep going, or you run with it. And sometimes people even turn that into their own little business after a while. But that's its own show. Right now, we're focusing on the invisible monster in our lives called debt. Now, why does debt hold people back? Not only Does it take away monies? Because you have to pay it back. There's no question about it. There's no, gee, maybe I might pay it back. No, no. This is going to be something that will bother you until it's paid back. I'm not kidding. You're going to have to find the best means in the world to pay it back and get it out of the way and just kick that dirty old broken down balloon to the curb and then stand with your foot on top of it and go, ta-da, I conquered debt. And I'm never, ever, ever going to put myself in that position again. Some people feel like they're drowning in debt. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They live with this every day. Then there are some people who are never, ever in debt. And because of situational things that have risen in the last couple of years, I have a big heart about it. My heart goes out. Please know that my heart goes out about that. That's not fun. That's not fun. People dodging collector calls and letters and all that stuff. So the trick is to not only knock down the debt, but think about the something else to look forward. What can one look forward to once that debt is bye bye? See you later. Those monies, think about this for a minute. Think really hard. The money that you use to pay back and pay down and get rid of that monster called debt, DEBT, rabbit hole falling of debt, could turn into something else. And guess what it is? Savings. What? All of a sudden, yes, all of a sudden you could take that same money, those same monies, and put it towards catching up on the savings that you couldn't do because of all the time that was spent paying down debt. So you see, it is not all gloom and doom. And you know something? I take life as a whole bunch of messages and a whole bunch of lessons learned. It's not fun to be in debt. DEBT rabbit hole of. No, it is not. It is not fun. It's just like an extra layer of worry, an extra layer of concern, an extra layer of being deprived sometimes of getting to do other things because we must pay down the debt. And by the way, make no mistake about it, debt has to be paid off. Now, I don't know why, and it troubles me. It really troubles me that there are sometimes people that don't think much of it. And actually, I just don't get it. I really just don't get it. People don't want to have a nasty credit score, do they? I would hope to goodness not. So take control, take charge, and know. Ask for help. And I'm talking about in a spiritual manner. This is what works best for any problem. Ask for help, spiritual help. Let your faith guide you. Do the right thing. Because I know deep down in everybody's heart, no one wants to live with that elephant in the room or big old balloon in the room. And just know that with due diligence, common sense practices, stop biting off more than people can chew. Stop worrying about keeping up with the Joneses, which is ridiculous, by the way. You think those that euphemism, do you think that the end of quote Joneses care about your debt, that you feel an obligation to keep up with this pretentious notion of having to keep up with things? It doesn't make sense. It's silly. I wouldn't want to worry about that. I just care about the concerns of living a peace-filled life. And let me tell you something, not living in debt is one of the ways. It's one of the many ways people can live a peace more of a peace filled life. So I know I rambled a little bit longer, but it's okay. Some things are worth rambling about. Wishing everybody an amazing, fantastic day. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate your time. Don't forget Monday through Friday to come back at. Actually, I just want to mention before I forget, I was putting up the no frills at 5 a.m. I went back to the midnight. This says, you know what? Just throw your no frills videos on at midnight, and more people can have a broader sense of seeing it, all over the place. There you go. Enjoy the no frills, but they are of short duration. They are 5 minutes or less. They are Monday through Friday. All right, everybody. Have an amazing, fantastic weekend. Don't forget to take good care of yourself and your family. And you know what? I said weekend because I'm just climbing off the weekend. Actually, it's Monday, the prior week. Have an amazing, fantastic week, because you will be listening to this on Monday. Weekend's over, Jan. I'm recording this at 6 o'clock in the morning. I need to let some of that coffee caffeine kick in. Take good care of yourself and your wonderful family. Thank you for being here.